Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to ManFlow Yoga. In today's video, I'm going to be going through banded distraction techniques as well as yoga postures to help increase your shoulder mobility. And for today's video, I've actually got a special guest. His name is Shane from Dowd, and he's going to be showing you the banded distraction techniques. I'm going to be showing you the yoga. So before I get started, make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you like any of this video, be sure to hit the like button as we go through the instruction. So here's the main thing with shoulder mobility. Most people end up doing a lot of pushing and we don't do enough pulling. So the focus of these techniques is going to help to kind of address that imbalance. So we want to get the focus back into your upper back and your shoulders. So kind of pulling your body from this closed off position here, hunching and drawing your chest in and getting those muscles in the chest open and then pulling the shoulder blades together so that we can restore posture and increase your shoulder mobility. So I'm excited that Shane is going to be showing you these exercises because in ManFlow Yoga, we do a lot of yoga, obviously, but not a ton of banded distraction. And the reason why that banded distraction is helpful is because there are a lot of different aspects of mobility. It's not just about flexibility. There's flexibility, which would refer to the ability of the muscles to stretch. There's also mobility, which is kind of an umbrella term that also includes strength and flexibility. And it also includes the joints. So the joints themselves, you can increase overall mobility by creating more space in the joint capsules. And that's what these distraction techniques are going to do. Whereas with yoga, we're more so focused on creating length in the muscles. The distraction techniques are going to help increase your overall mobility by working on creating more space in the joint capsules. So we're going to start off. I'm going to take it over to Shane, and Shane is going to go through your banded distraction techniques, and then we're going to come back to me, and I'm going to show you the yoga techniques. So take it away, Shane.
Hey, it's Shane from GotRam.com. This video is about how to improve your shoulder joint mobility using some band distracted techniques and good old-fashioned yoga. Stay tuned. The fundamental reason why shoulders get tight in guys that do a lot of weightlifting or yoga is that all of the movements tend to be pressing movements, and there's not a whole lot of pulling movements. Men tend to love the bench press, push-ups. The military tests the push-ups. Every Monday is bench day. But when's the last time that you cared as much about how you're pulling so that you have an equal balance of your muscles on the front and the back? Similarly in yoga, tons of chaturanga. But when's the last time, if you're a yogi, that you did something that pulls and strengthens as much as when you're pushing? Probably it's an unequal distribution. So the solution is do more pulling in your training, but also practice these shoulder joint mobility techniques. Before you do any joint mobility techniques, it's good to get a before picture so that after you do these techniques and you take an after picture, you do a retest of how things are moving, you know if you made a difference or not. So a good simple shoulder mobility test is to lay on the ground with your back flat, no arch in your back, arms completely straight, feet like this, lock out the arms, and then see how far they can go overhead and how close they can get to your head. And it should feel like both of your arms can get to the ground and touch your head, and without you kind of arching your back to compensate or bending your elbows to compensate. So keep your arms straight, keep your back flat, see how far your shoulder range of motion goes back and towards your head, and then see if the exercises that we're about to do help. One absolutely critical exercise for improving shoulder joint mobility is actually not something at the shoulder joint, but it is your thoracic spine, your upper back from here to here. If you're a little bit turtleback, a little bit slumped, no matter what you do in and around here is never going to be as efficient as if you also get the spine a little bit more upright. That doesn't mean arching from your lower back, it means getting your thoracic spine, just the upper back, to move better. So to do that, I usually like 2 lacrosse balls, or these are alpha balls from Yoga Tune-Up, I think. Whatever works for you, whatever balls you have available. I use these most of the time. So I'm going to show you with the lacrosse balls. So lay on your back, put these on your upper back in between your shoulder blades, and then keep your hands like so and start to slowly steamroll up and down in between your shoulder blades, even down to where your rib cage ends about here. So you're just rolling, you can readjust if you need to. This is going to be really intense for a lot of people, so start easy. If you really want a more beginner version, you can go like this. It's a little less intense, but I don't like it as much because your neck tenses up. So I like to keep my hands here. I like to be teeter-tottering or rolling, or I like to put my hands long like so. The whole kind of purpose of this is if someone was taking my spine and bending it back and forth and creating a little bit more superhero posture, a little bit more chest up kind of posture. So visualize your spine and visualize yourself kind of mobilizing each segment. If you find a really sticky segment where it feels like, ugh, like that just won't move, then stop. Take a big breath. Sink. Take a big breath. Sink. So if you scrub, breathe, teeter-totter, change your arm positions, I think you'll find that when you retest your shoulder range of motion, it's radically improved. So give this exercise a shot. So when people think about improving their shoulder mobility, they often think, do a couple stretches or some arm swings or something like that. But one principle that I learned when I was coming out of a big hip impingement problem, and this principle applies to both the hip and the shoulder, is that when the hip capsule itself, like the part closest to the joint, is restricted, no matter what you do downstream for the lats or the pecs or anything else, it's not going to be as effective as if you get the joint in a good best fit position in the socket and you free up the hip capsule or the shoulder capsule in this case. And one of the best ways to do that is with a band, with a band distraction technique. This comes from physical therapy. Physical therapists, if you have a joint restriction, they'll attach a rope or a band around your hip or shoulder and do some glides and get some motion back in there. But you can actually do that on yourself. So let me show you how. The first thing you want to do is get a band, a light band or medium band, hook it up to an immovable post, and then lay on your back, hook it around your shoulder like so, and then get a dumbbell or a kettlebell, lay flat on your back. The band is distracting laterally. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see, but you are going to press up with the weight, externally rotate like you're screwing a screwdriver, and then let the weight of this push your shoulder to the back of the socket. So you're here, you might have to turn to your side just a hair, and then just kind of hang out here. You can either work on just kind of creating rotation or letting it sink and push you down. Take a couple breaths, relax, create some rotation, wiggle around. All you're trying to think is that this bone is pressing into the back of the socket, which is going to improve how it moves in general. So hang out here for 2 or 3 minutes. When you're done, come down, retest your shoulder range of motion, see if it isn't improved. So to have good posture and range of motion of the glenohumeral joint, the shoulder joint, we need to stretch out the pecs. Everything we do in life is here: texting, driving, studying, eating, slump forward this way, bench pressing, curling, everything is kind of like this. So we need to open this back up. Here I have my home pull-up bar and a band, and I do this stretch very often. You can do a pec stretch kind of just with one arm, like kind of stretching like this, but I like to do it with 2 hands in the band. This is a thin band. And notice my palms are facing this way, not like this. This is just reinforcing bad posture. But this has my chest really open up. And when I walk forward and take big, deep breaths, wiggle around, breathing deep, this feels like a huge, huge chest opener. And when I'm done, I feel like I got like superhero posture. So get a light mini band, Put it on a bar, a pull-up bar in your home or in the gym. Get both your hands like this, palms facing forward. Step forward, puff out the chest like Superman. Breathe and relax. And enjoy superhero posture. When you're doing the band pec stretch to improve your shoulder joint mobility and posture, there's a few key techniques that you want to do. One is you get yourself in position, palms facing forward. You're not allowing your shoulders to slump into this bad position. You're keeping them broad and open. You should never feel this stretch in the biceps or the tip of the shoulder. It should always be across the chest. So when your hands are palms facing forward and you puff your chest out, that really helps accomplish that. So from here, you can just use your kind of yoga ujjayi breathing, that kind of back of the throat sound breathing. You can also do contract, relax. So I'm going to pretend like I'm squeezing my arms together as I hold my breath. Squeeze, and then relax. You actually won't see much movement, but my muscles will be contracting. So you're here, puffing your chest out. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax. Move a little farther into the stretch. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax. A little deeper into the stretch. It's a very, very subtle thing, but this PNF stretching really helps to make your muscles relax more and more, which is going to improve that posture, give you that superhero posture, and also improve your shoulder joint range of motion. The next shoulder joint mobility drill that we're going to learn is the lat stretch with the band distracted lat stretch. So the lats here are really hard to stretch. If you do downward dog or other stretches, it's kind of hard to both relax and get a good stretch. And that's where, when the band comes in, it makes a huge difference. So what you do is you hook the band up around the back of your wrist, and then you crisscross the band in front and grab it. This creates a very secure kind of grip so that I actually can relax. I don't have to be squeezing hard, tensing up all my muscles while trying to get them to relax. So back of the wrist, the band goes, crisscross in front and grab. Sit on your butt and sit in this kind of a position with your hand blocking you so that the band doesn't pull you and make you slide. And then just rotate your arm externally, like so, like you're screwing a screwdriver, and then create a long rainbow on this side of your body by pushing this armpit up and out in that direction. From there, you can kind of wiggle around, hunt around, breathe and relax. Your ujjayi breathing, or contract, hold your breath, relax, PNF stretching, wiggle around, spend 2-3 minutes here. And when you're done, I think you'll find that this shoulder has a lot more range of motion for your handstands or overhead movements or whatever than the one that you haven't been stretching. So give the band distracted lat stretch a shot. So that's it, a quick and easy shoulder joint mobility routine. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I'll be glad to help, and I'll see you in the next video.
All right, and now we're back with me, and thank you, Shane, for showing those exercises. Those distraction techniques are really helpful. So listen to Shane, do them, and you can also combine them with these shoulder mobility techniques with yoga that I'm about to show you. So I've got 4 exercises that I'm going to show you today. For these exercises, you're going to need 2 blocks and a strap. If you don't have 2 blocks and a strap, you can use a stack of books. You can also use a dog leash or a rope or a belt. So no excuse not to do these. And these postures are more so focused on people who are not as flexible. So I'm going to show you modifications that make it easy if you're not that flexible, and also make sure that you're going to feel these exercises the right way. So I'm going to go through the proper muscles that are involved and what you should feel and what you shouldn't feel. So here we go. The first exercise is a puppy pose on blocks. And I really like using this modification because a lot of guys are too tight through their shoulders and they have bad posture, and child's pose isn't super helpful for them. They might also have tightness in their knees that prevents them from full knee flexion, which is what you're doing, what I'm doing right now. So for the puppy pose, you're gonna have your knees kind of under your hips, so you don't have to worry about getting your butt all the way back to your heels. So the knees can stay kind of again, under the hips here. And instead of bringing your hands down to the ground, which is traditional for a child's pose, I'm gonna have you put your hands on top of the blocks, which is going to actually get a deeper stretch for us. So here, I want you to kind of pull your hips back as much as is comfortable for your knees. And again, you don't have to go that far back. The focus here is more so on your shoulders. And then you can just relax your head. So wherever it goes, if it goes all the way to the ground, great. If it doesn't, just hold it wherever it's comfortable. And then from here, I want you to think pulling your hips back away from your shoulders. And you're going to feel a really nice stretch here through your lats and kind of everything around your armpit. You've also got your chest stretching here, your pecs. And then again, chest pulling, or kind of chest and hips pulling down away from the hands, creating space in the shoulders. And allow your chest to relax toward the floor. If you can squeeze the muscles in your upper back, that's going to help you go a little bit deeper into this. And that's a really good way to increase not just your passive flexibility, but also your active mobility. So by engaging the muscles in your upper back as you're allowing your chest to stretch, that's going to have a greater benefit than just stretching alone. And then while you're doing this, you're going to hold this for about at least 45 and up to 90 seconds. And make sure to breathe in and out of your nose for as long as you can with those breaths. So nice long breaths, not slow. Okay, that's your first exercise. Next one is going to be a banded stretch or a strap stretch for your shoulders. So for this, I'm going to have you grab a strap. You can do this from a kneeling position or a standing position. It doesn't really matter. But you're going to hold that strap behind your back at about shoulder width distant. So hold it at about, again, shoulder width distant. Pull your shoulder blades together so your chest is open. The insides of your elbows should face straight forward. Your elbows should face straight back. And then you want to, with your elbows bent, start by squeezing your shoulder blades together. Okay, so the biggest mistake that I see of people doing this in yoga is there's no emphasis on pulling the shoulder blades together and opening the chest. All they care about is lifting the strap away from the back, and the chest comes in, and we're not really getting a lot of strength benefit out of this. So I want you to focus on pulling the shoulder blades together and opening your chest, and again, kind of squeezing your elbows toward one another at your back. Elbows can start bent. From here, with that engagement in your upper back, straighten your arms as much as you can, and then start to lift your arms away from your back. So now, instead of with my shoulders kind of rounded down and just squeezing my arms away from the back, I have active engagement through my shoulder blades. So my upper back is working here, and then I'm starting to lift my arms away from the back. And I'm getting a lot more stretching through my chest here, in addition to building strength in my upper back. So if you look at me from the front, you can tell my chest is open here. I'm not rounding in through my chest. And if you can pay attention to how your back is feeling, you'll notice that the muscles between your shoulder blades are working. And that's what we want to feel here. And then again, arms squeezing away from the back as much as you can, keeping the elbows facing back, inner elbows facing forward. And again, big open chest here. So here I want you to hold this for at least 45 seconds. You can hold this up to 90 seconds. Make sure that your chest stays open. You're not internally rotating the shoulders as you lift the arms higher. And you just want to do this as much as you can with proper technique through your chest. You can bend the elbows to make this easier. You can also hold the strap wider to make it more challenging. Bring the strap closer together. Okay, so that's the second exercise. Next exercise we're going to do is a child's pose with a single arm lift. So we're going to get down onto the ground for this one. Kind of like we did for our puppy pose, but this is a little more active. So we're going to work on strength in your upper back. So you're going to bring your hands down to the ground. And if it feels more comfortable for whatever reason to do this on blocks, you can do that. It's going to make it more challenging, but you can try that if you want. You want to get your butt back toward your heels. If you feel restrictions here in your knees, don't worry about going so far back. Chest relaxes toward the floor. And if you can get your head down, relax your head onto the ground. If your head doesn't touch the ground, use one of the blocks to rest your head on the blocks, and that's just going to make it a lot more comfortable for you. So child's pose with single arm lift. You're going to have your arms straightened, pressing your hands into the ground, and then squeezing your arms toward one another. So there's tension, squeezing your arms towards one another, pulling your hips back toward your heels. You should feel stretching from your upper arms all the way to your mid-back, stretching your lats. And then from here, you're going to lift one arm. So start with your left hand. Keep the right hand pressing down. Lift your left arm up a few inches. And what we're doing here, we're actually increasing the intensity of the stretch in your right side, but we're also building strength in your upper back in the left side. So this is great because we're not just increasing flexibility, but we're also increasing strength, which helps with greater mobility. And then you can go ahead and release there. So you can hold that on both sides for 15 to 30 seconds. This is kind of intense, so you might want to start with 15 and work your way up. And then make sure you do the other side. So left hand is down now, right arm lifts up. Try to keep your weight back in your hips. Don't rest all of your weight in your head or in your upper body here. As much as you can, shifting that weight toward your hips. And then again, 15 to 30 seconds, squeezing your right arm or whatever arm you're lifting up as high as possible, building strength in your upper back. And then the last exercise we're going to do is a dolphin. And this is really going to help with your lats. So for dolphin, you're going to start in a forearm plank with your forearms parallel to one another. From here, you're going to walk your feet in toward your elbows, just about a foot. So don't walk in that much. And then bend your knees a lot. So bend your knees as much as you need to so that you can keep your back flat. So make sure that you don't just lock out your knees around your back, but again, bend the knees. Focus on lengthening the front of your body, particularly from your pubic bone to your chest. And then you're going to hug your elbows toward one another, push down through your forearms, and push your chest back toward your heels. So we're going to feel stretching here through the lats again. This is also helping to build strength in your upper back. And you want to hold this for at least 30 seconds and up to 60 seconds. Make sure that as you're holding this, your elbows don't slide to the outsides. Try to keep them parallel to one another. And you're also going to feel stretching in your hamstrings as you do this, so that's normal. And you should hopefully feel your core working. Make sure that you don't put all the weight in your upper body too as you're doing this. Try to keep it balanced between your core and your shoulders. And that's it. So those are your 4 exercises. You can do those every day. If you feel really sore, then you might want to space it out every other day. But these exercises and those banded distraction techniques that Shane showed you are going to be awesome for increasing your shoulder mobility, for kind of restoring your posture and helping to balance. If you're doing a lot of yoga and all you're doing is pushing in planks and down dogs, it's going to help with countering that. Or if you're doing lots of push-ups, you're doing lots of bench press at the gym and not enough pulling, this is going to help with balancing out that as well. So be sure to check out Shane and Got Ram on his YouTube channel. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to Manful Yoga, be sure to subscribe. Like this video, and if you're looking for more structured programs or workouts, be sure to check out Manful Yoga at manfulyoga.com/join. And that's it, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.